When I heard your story, it hurt my heart.
If they're not in a domestic violence relationship, someone's not talking about it because it's 1 in 3.
So
Right.
1 in 3 women are in a domestic violence relationship.
He wanted to be idolized, not just to love him, to idolize him above everything else.
And then you found out that he was cheating, not with a woman.
Well, with both.
How long your parents have been married?
48 years. Like, it was almost like he was impatient, but it wasn't impatience, it was control. Disguised as impatience.
Yeah.
The smile almost becomes your mask. Am I happy? Am I sad? You won't know because I'm just have a smile on my face.
My daughter, the moment she was born, I bought a shotgun. And I'm serious. How did your relationship with money change after, surviving abuse?
Dramatically.
Wait. I know you want to watch this next video, but listen, if you are an entrepreneur, business coach, business consultant, or a small business owner who has a story and wants to learn how to create multiple streams of income from your story, I need you to text me right now, my book, to 646-687-4152. That is my personal number. I have been an author for over 12 years. I've written 10 books. 4 of them have been bestsellers, and I've sold over 100,000 books. But I've also helped a lot of my clients take their expertise and put it into a story, then create multiple streams of income from that. So I want to help you do the same thing. So text my book to 646-687-4152. All right, let's go back to the video. So welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. Listen, y'all, this is not just another episode. This is a life-saving conversation that could change the way you see love, control, and power, and your money. Today's guest is a powerhouse, a survivor, a CEO, and a woman who turned her pain into purpose after surviving years of emotional and psychological abuse. 6 years after walking away from a controlling and abusive relationship, she rebuilt herself from the inside out. Today, she's an independent life insurance broker, founder of New Tide Consulting LLC, and the president and co-founder of Ignite Her, Inc., a nonprofit organization helping women heal, grow, and thrive. She's also pursuing self-defense certification through Gracie's Jiu-Jitsu Largo to train women in the Woman Empowered program. She's a voice in a room at major domestic violence prevention conferences and task force. And now she's the author of the groundbreaking new book, Behind the Smile, The Unseen Signs of Emotional Abuse. This conversation is about healing. It's about protecting yourself and your loved ones. And it's about reclaiming your mind, your power, and your finances. Tap in. You don't want to miss this. Welcome to Inside the Vault, Miss Tiffiny Newton. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I thought this interview is very important because, as somebody who grew up, I grew up in a single parent home. My mom raised 3 of us. My dad was like in and out of the house. I've seen some versions of what domestic violence looks like. Whether it's verbal, physical, at an early age, and that sort of made me into like a protector, right? That's the one thing. I mind my business on most things, but domestic violence, like men putting hands on women, like it's just something in my soul doesn't allow me to be in that energy, and that's the only thing I won't mind my business on, and children, like pedophile stuff as well. But so I've always had this natural aversion to like domestic violence. And, for the most part, again, I've been the protector. I have sisters, I have nieces, I have a daughter. And so I'm really, protective. Like I'm really, side eyeing. When I heard your story, it hurt my heart. Because to think that women go through this, right? And not just, in your situation, but like even reading your stories, there's so many other women that go through this. There's a lot, And so I thought this was important because, and I'll let you explain, but I know you mentioned that 99% of people who are in domestic violence situations, it's financial.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to bring you on. First, definitely want to talk about the book Behind the Smile, because again, this is a unique thing, because not only like this book is sharing your story, but it's not necessarily for the person being abused.
Right.
It's for the loved one.
Yep.
And so before we get into all of that, in your words, who is Tiffiny Newton?
First and foremost, I'm a child of God.
Yes.
I'm a dog mom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a sister, a daughter, a best friend to many people, and just a lover of helping women put themselves in a better spot.
Yeah.
Because that's so important. You think you have to rely on somebody. It's nice to rely on somebody, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
And that's where knowing on the financial side of it, right, is knowing how to put yourself in a good financial spot, the retirement planning, the growth of income, all of that stuff. That's why my insurance business is so important. But the other side of it is, how do you keep yourself protected in any relationship, and what should you know prior to those types of things? And having loved ones, like you and I had this conversation of, what would you and your wife want to talk to your daughter about to make her aware for future relationships? Yeah. She's so young, so she's got plenty of time. Yeah. But your nieces and cousins and all of that, if they're not in a domestic violence relationship, someone's not talking about it, because it's 1 in 3.
So right? 1 in 3 women are in a domestic violence relationship. Because my daughter, the moment she was born, I bought a shotgun, and I'm serious.
I love it.
And I've had that conversation with her over and over and over again. Yep. And I said, whoever you date, let them know your dad is not all there.
He's cleaning his gun as we speak.
He's not all there. But I do know most relationships are stuck in the domestic violence space because of financial abuse. And, it might be somebody watching right now that's like, oh, it could never be me. That's what most people say. For you, how did that show up in your relationship?
The financial side of it, he became very jealous that I actually had retirement. So he tried to figure out how he could get me to empty it.
Wow.
And he got half of it. So he owes me a lot of money. Wow. But he had me sign a gift form. So after that was signed and submitted to the mortgage company, it was good luck getting that back. Wow. So he manipulated that whole situation. Yeah. So again, in those types of relationships, they see what you have, that you're happy, solid, right? You're financially sound, financially solid, and they want that. And they're going to do what they can to drain it.
How does one get into a relationship with someone who is, a domestic, someone that would do a manipulator? Let's just call them that. Again, 1 in 3. So does that mean that that's just what it is? That's just how people are? Does it wind up happening? Like walk me through, what is it about relationships that allow people like this? That 1 in 3 is
significant.
It's significant. It's a huge percentage. Like, how does someone get into that type of relationship?
And I'll base this off of my situation, because I think every situation is quite different. Yeah. I had a relationship in 2015. I was heartbroken. And I really liked that guy, and I know he really liked me, but like we just parted ways, and it was just one of those like down moments when, you know, we talk about frequency and vibration of our own energies. My vibration was down low. And I was getting ready to go on an amazing, my dream trip to Sydney, Australia on New Year's was my dream trip. I met my abuser probably 2 weeks before I left for that trip at the dog park. We started talking dogs, we started talking lifting weights and eating healthy, and our lifestyles were very, very similar. And then I went back to my condo and I'm like, who is this guy? Where did he come from?
Wow.
Like, why haven't I never seen this guy before? Never saw him at the gym, never saw him at the dog park, nothing. Never saw him out. Come back from my trip, I'm on a high. I went on the best trip of my life, had an amazing time. We ran into each other at the dog park again, random. And he asked for my number, Ben. And I think my empathetic side was coming through, right? The energy, the vibration, the listening. You can tell someone if someone's empathetic or not.
Yeah.
Or feels things a little deeper than someone else does. And he was noticing these things and would like put out requests, let's go to dinner. And when we would go to dinner, it's, why aren't you down here? It was like getting me to react to little things.
Immediately? How long?
Like it was almost like he was impatient, but it wasn't impatience. It was control disguised as impatience.
Yeah.
Because we're all impatient at some point. We're all like, come on, let's go.
But how much into the relationship, like, you know, like while you were dating, did he have these controlling behaviors early on, or did it happen like later? I
didn't notice them as controlling. I noticed them as, man, he's just impatient.
Got it.
So again, like I ignored some of those red flags because I just seeing the good in people. I just thought, oh, he's impatient. Calm down. I'll be down there in a second. And it's not like I was asking him to wait for like 20 minutes. It was 2 minutes so I could get the elevator to go downstairs. But just some of those little things, and him noticing if, you know, I was meeting with my accountant. Well, why do you need an accountant? You know, all of these like little things that he was taking notes on to be able to use against me later. Yeah. So he was putting together his war book, basically. Yeah.
And then what was it that didn't allow you to see the red flags early on?
I met him at the dog park. I like people who love animals. I think they're good people. There's a reason why animals like them back. So I trust the animals, right? Animals in nature flee from danger. You would think the same thing happens in a house, and that's not the case. Those animals just get accustomed to whatever that danger is. And I just didn't pay attention. And you just get sucked in. You don't recognize certain behaviors and certain tones and the way this person would use this sentence versus this person. The intent behind it is different. And you don't recognize that if you're naive to that situation. And that is my problem, is I was absolutely naive to that. And so what about, like, you know, I mean, so first, one of the things that was heartbreaking for me, even in reading the book, was that he had a list, like a document of all the things you can and can't do. Could you share a little bit about that list? Yeah. He kept bringing up, well, you used to do this. And I'm like, used to? What is going on? Like, what are you talking about? And then he messaged me this list. And I just remember reading that. I think it's in italics in there. You need to memorize this so it's never again an issue of you not knowing or not remembering. And it was, you can only post on Facebook if I've approved it, or, you know, have friends that I've approved of because of past BS and all of these things. In a normal person, you you don't necessarily go with the flow, but you have the respect for the other person that they have respect for you.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about that. It was, I had to have respect for him. He demanded respect, whether he gave me respect or not.
Mm.
So again, it's all the intent behind it.
Yeah.
And after, and I'm glad I kept that list because it's a reminder of the insanity.
Yeah.
But I remember right after I left, a girl going viral on social media that her boyfriend gave her a list of 10 things she had to do. I'm like, I got that beat, and thinking, oh my God, that's so pathetic. Like, why would I ever even stay past that?
Yeah.
Because I got that list in July of 2018, and it took me until October 31st, July 2018 to leave.
Wow. And like, so emotional abuse, psychological abuse, in some cases, physical abuse.
Yep.
At what point, why did you stay so long?
The initial times that I left, he basically talked me back into staying.
Yeah.
It's my fault. It's, if you didn't do this, we would be fine. If you did this, we would be fine. So he put the ball back in my court when he had control the whole time. No matter what I did or behavior I exhibited or what I fixed, it would still be broken.
Yeah.
And I think it took many times to realize that or actually get cemented. As often as I did fix things were still broken.
Yeah.
To the point of, you go sleep out on the sofa. So I'd go sleep out on the sofa. He'd come out and turn the lights on. And I go turn the lights off. He'd back out, turn the lights back on. You're sleeping with the lights on. This is my house. This is how you're going to sleep.
Wow.
So he just wanted complete and utter control over everything.
And at what point did it like it turned, like, was there ever love? Would you say that, you loved him or he loved you? Or was it always about power and control?
I wanted to think it was love coming from him, but I don't think it ever was. Like, looking back, I think it was the illusion of love.
Yeah.
It was about the control to get me to love him, or I'll take that back. Not just to love him, to idolize him. He wanted to be idolized above everything else. It didn't matter. Above my parents, above anything. If I we were at church, I complimented a singer up on stage. And Ash, I ruined church for him because I complimented the singer.
Yeah.
So if I thought good of anybody else, I ruined everything for him because he had to be idolized at all points.
Wow. And so, some of the things that, have happened, or if you could just talk to, what are some of the red flags, right? Because again, one of the things I appreciate about this book, Behind the Smile, is that it's not really just about your story. It's a cautionary tale. It's for me, right? It's for my wife. It's for the uncles. It's for the people who have loved ones who, and those loved ones might be in a domestic violence type of relationship, because even that, right? Like someone in a domestic violence relationship may not. They're being so controlled, they might not be able to buy a book like this, right? Because the control is so deep, and controlling a lot of your life. So, like, talk a little bit about the red flags that a family member, a friend, someone can identify in their loved one. Like, what are some of the things that start to happen that someone should look and say, you know what, they might be in a domestic violence relationship?
I would say if that person, this is probably the easiest thing to spot, is if that person, when they are normally around you, they are on fire with personality and light and energy, and that's all dimmed. It's like a dimmer switch. it's completely dimmed down, or by the time they're seeing you, they're frazzled. Like their anxiety is taken over. It's like they're burning a candle at both ends, because they really are. They're trying to like balance their sanity with the crazy, and it's just meeting in the middle of an explosion. The exiting of family events, like if they're always at Thanksgiving and always at Christmas and always there maybe once a month, and all of a sudden you're only seeing them every other month or every 3 months or every 6 months, you see them kind of withdrawing. That's another big one. And their attitude and their fire for life. Most people, when you get them on a certain topic of some kind, they'll have energy. You'll see the fuel come back in. No matter how tired or drained, you mention one keyword or one topic and they're like, yeah, you won't see that anymore in them, because they're too deadened to so much that's going on in their own life.
Talk to me about the mindset of somebody in a domestic violence relationship, because, it's hard for me to fathom, right? Like just kind of hearing these things, it's hard for me to fathom that someone could be that manipulative, right? You come from a 2-parent home, you have siblings, you have family, you have friends. And so it feels like with someone who has love, right? Like your parents have been with each other for a long time. So you know what love looks like.
Yeah.
Right? You know what love looks like, but yet, and again, this is not in a blaming way, it's just me just sort of understanding, like, you know what love looks like, but yet you were able to, get manipulated, right? Like, what is the mindset of a person that's in a domestic violence relationship, but then also, how does that relationship, like, how do you get back to, like, how do you like get out of it? How do you get back to yourself?
So I think the first part of that is, how do you kind of feel the mindset of it? Is we all want to be loved. And sometimes that love isn't pure, and sometimes it's fake. Sometimes it's pure, sometimes it's faked. And do we know the difference sometimes? Maybe not. Maybe it's Wile E. Coyote in a sheep's costume, right? Chasing the Roadrunner. You just don't know sometimes until they're zipping off the sheep's clothing, right? That to me was like the most mind-blowing thing. And in the same thing in the financial stuff. So just because my parents had a successful marriage, just because they handled finances successfully, doesn't mean it was taught. That's a good point. Right? Yeah. So it's not osmosis. You're not like soaking it in through your skin. You can see it. You have a goal for that. But what are the steps to get you there? What are the questions to ask to make sure you're finding the right partner? What are the questions that you're asking to make sure you're financially set? It's almost the same path, but one's the relationship and one's the financial. Sometimes they cross. But I think having a example doesn't tell you all the steps it took to get there. And I think that is part of the breakdown of some of that for me, because I witnessed success in my grandparents. I witnessed it in my parents. I witnessed it with my brother and my sister-in-law, like successful marriages. But I haven't found that success. Right? What steps am I missing, or didn't I follow, or didn't I see or pay attention to that they did? And I'm glad that you answered it that way. I'm glad you put that into perspective, because I think that that's the biggest misconception, right? Because again, as somebody who, you don't know what you don't know, right? So as somebody who grew up in a single parent home, who grew up without my dad in the household,
raised in the streets, if you will. I have a skewed view of what people who grew up in a two-family household look like, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, well, I got into these like I was in trouble. I got kicked out of school. I made a lot of mistakes. And immediately I'm saying, oh, that's just because my dad wasn't in the household. If I had both my parents, then this, when I know, people with two-parent households that got in the same trouble as me. But because I haven't experienced it, I'm sort of like not blaming, but having that judgment that, oh, you've seen it. But the truth is, like when we think about wealth, why is, wealth gone by the third generation?
Yeah.
Regardless of race, ethnicity, third generation, wealth is gone.
Poof.
Why?
Yeah.
Because you don't learn it. It's not passed down. When we talk about passing down, legacy and generational wealth, it can't just be about the assets.
Right.
It has to be about, knowledge. And again, how long your parents have been married?
48 years before my mom passed.
48 years, right? For a 48-year marriage still doesn't mean that that's 48 years of observation, but not 48 years of lessons passed down.
Yeah.
And so that I appreciate that, because again, and the reason why I ask that question that way is because I know that there might be people watching that will look and say, again, like, what? This doesn't make sense. Like, how? Like, why would you stay? Like, all these things that you don't know if you're not in it, right?
Yeah.
But understanding that, like you said, people are looking for love. And so when that love comes, think about why people join gangs, right? Yeah. When they join a gang, it's not
they belong.
They belong. They want that sense of belonging, and so that's where they go, right?
I mean, and there's all those like shows out there, Love Island and
right.
Bachelor in Paradise, and like all of those. It's all about finding love, right? So America is the world is desperate to find love, no matter what way.
Yeah. And so now, like, how did you get your mojo back? Like, how did you, get out of your situation?
So first and foremost, I think most people, I'm not saying everybody, because everyone's got their own thing. Mm-hmm. Most people need to talk to a professional about it, because it is traumatic. Yeah. Trauma lives in a different part of the brain. It's scientific. Abuse and traumatic abuse can cause PTSD and CPTSD, or complex PTSD. Wow. So it is a real thing. So talking to someone about that and having the discussion of what is a real memory, what is trauma, what was good, what was bad, and really like hashing it out. Right? Because when you see it in black and white, and, some therapists have you do like homework assignments, for the lack of a better term, or workbook it, as some would say, you get to see examples and look back of what you missed and what you could have seen that now would be neon red flags to you, not like this sun-worn, pale pink, like slightly tattered red flag, right? It is straight up neon red, neon hot, burning a hole in your eyes that you're going to see it in a way different manner. Yeah. So talking to someone first and foremost, getting back to things that you loved, whether it's going to the gym, getting a good book, going out to dinner with friends, going to see movies, whatever that is, take one step at a time. Make a promise to yourself to do that one thing, do it, do the next thing, do it, build confidence in yourself. Because once you take those baby steps, you're getting back to your true self, like climbing a staircase. You have to take each step to get to that platform to go up to the next one. Yeah. And without taking those steps, you're just stuck. You'll sit in there in the tornado of chaos. And tailspin, and that's not healthy for anybody.
Yeah. When you made the decision to leave, was it I'm ripping the Band-Aid off. Enough is enough. I'm out of here. How did you gain the courage? Was it a gradual thing? What was that process like?
Well, the first time I left, I got kicked out
Mm.
Because of a huge fight. The second time I left, the third time I left, I was like, I had enough. I can't fight with you anymore. I'm done. I left. Third time, same thing. Fourth time I left in the middle of a hurricane.
Mm.
And then the fifth time, something he said, that was the breaking point.
Mm.
And I said, you know what? You can have that.
Mm.
I'm done.
Mm.
I grabbed my dog. I had already strategically moved a majority of my stuff out.
Mm.
I left things on hangers that I didn't even care about any longer, kind of like stuff that you would give away to Goodwill or Salvation Army at spring cleaning. And I had moved everything out. So I already had a plan in place and I was out the door.
Wow. But 5 times.
5 times.
Wow.
The average is 7.
Wow. Wow. And so what happens like that keeps bringing, is it the financial dependency? Like what is it that keeps bringing people back over and over?
Hope.
Yeah.
Hope that things will change because they want to get back to the honeymoon phase again. That cycle, the honeymoon phase is so great. They make you feel so amazing. But here's the key. They only have to have that honeymoon phase 1 day out of the 30 days of the month.
Right.
Because the rest of the time, if they're crappy to you, you're hoping for that one day. You're hoping and pleading for that one day. You're begging. There are emails, and I think one of them maybe is in there where I'm begging him for a Christmas present. I wanted us to be back to where we were.
Wow.
Pleading, begging.
Wow.
And it was never going to be that.
Yeah.
He loved that. That was pure power right there for him.
Wow. And, you know, one of the interesting things that one of the interesting things was that, like, you know, he would control who your friends are, where you would go, your social media interactions, kind of blaming you for like cheating and things of that nature. And then you found out that he was cheating, not with a woman.
Well, with both. One time with a woman, one time of the same sex.
Wow. How did that make you feel when you found that out? Like this person who's controlling you, who's manipulating you, who's making you feel like, you know, your worth is nothing, to now find out that this person is not only cheating with both with same sex and opposite sex, but is also putting your life in danger, right? Because, you know, I could imagine that someone who is manipulative and who is, you know, that type of person in a domestic violence relationship is not careful. They're forceful. They're asking you to do things that we can't say on this show, even though we can say whatever we want on the show, but just for the sake of the right, for the audience, right? And so, like, how did that make you feel?
It made me feel disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I thought I already felt worthless because he, like, the words he would use would just degrade me so badly. Yeah. But I felt lower than that. Wow. And I didn't even think that was possible until I came across the evidence.
Wow. And so, you know, once you left, what was your first financial move to get back on your feet?
So the first financial big move that I made is I went to a conference about infinite banking in St. Augustine, Florida. And to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have gone because my mom had just passed away 3 weeks prior, but I had already bought the ticket. So I went, and I'm so thankful I did. Because they always tout, and you can see this all over social media, those types of accounts, the IRS hates because they can't see what money's growing in it. Well, no, neither can anyone else except for you, right? So that is what I wanted. And after reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad for, I don't know, the umpteenth time, it jumped out at me. That's exactly the type of account that I wanted.
Yeah.
So I canceled like my term policies and just had that with a term writer, and just started growing money in there rather than a traditional savings account. I dumped the money in there.
Yeah.
Because you could borrow and it was like you never touched the money.
Yeah.
So that was like my first big move.
Yeah. Yeah. And would you say that, you know, financial independence, I mean, this actually sounds like the best type of account or best type of financial vehicle for anybody in any situation in which they're being held hostage or abused financially, because this sounds like something that you could put your money in, and you know, it shields you in a way, right? Where you have access, because you could borrow from it, things of that nature. You have access to a financial vehicle that is virtually invisible to those, right? Because when you think about domestic violence, they're watching your bank account. They're watching certain things, but this, in a sense, is like invisible.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you can switch to online statements where they would need your login. I mean, it's not an emergency fund because it takes 3 to 5 days to get it into your account.
Yeah.
But it absolutely can be a financial saving grace for you as you stash money away.
Yeah. How did your relationship with money change after, you know, surviving abuse?
Dramatically. Because I had put, like, my mom told me, put money into retirement accounts, do all this, and to have someone control and take from me.
Yeah.
Not only did he take, the IRS took because I took. Right? I removed $40,000 to give to him, and the IRS sends me a bill for $10,000.
Wow.
So I'm out $50,000.
Right.
Right? So that was an eye opener.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you borrow, if you borrow from a 401k while you're still at your place of employment, you have time to pay it back. There's no timeline. Yeah. If you borrow from an IRA, annuity, you know, whatever, outside, like qualified money, if you borrow outside of a work environment, there is a timeline. You have 3 months.
Wow.
I didn't know that at the time. So it fast forwarded me learning quite a bit more about that, because I couldn't even pay myself back at that point. So I got taxed on it. That's why I got the extra $10,000 tax.
Yeah. Yeah.
And penalized because I was under 59 and a half.
Right. And so what advice do you have for survivors trying to rebuild their lives financially, especially when they've lost income, credit, or assets?
Make sure you have an emergency fund.
Yeah.
Always 3 to 6 months, whatever. Some people want a year. It's all based off of your comfort level. Yeah. But in reality, 3 months, absolutely. And then stash the other stuff in maybe a high yield savings account or a infinite banking type policy to grow and be able to use compounding in your favor. Because if you don't, that money's gone and you're not going to be able to use it ever again. Yeah. It's gone. It's spent.
Yeah. And so now you're a successful entrepreneur, you know, financial professional. How did healing emotionally help you like level up financially?
Well, it helped me level up in my service to other people.
Yeah.
Because me going through that devastation and helping people with their finances, I'm back down at a different level than a level of understanding. I'm no better than anybody else, but I'm at a different level of understanding. And understanding what people want to make sure that their family's protected from, that they don't have to pass along nothing, even a little bit helps. Yeah. And then on the financial side for me, making sure my money is in a space where I'm never going to get taxed like that again. That was painful.
Right. Yeah.
That was extremely painful. I got that check. I took a picture of it, or I got that bill from the IRS. I took a picture of it and I sat there and cried.
Yeah. And so now, like when you think about like loved ones now too, how could loved ones better assist, right? I know we talk about that in the book. How can loved ones better assist their family members, whether they know or not that they're in a domestic violence relationship?
Be there for them. Be that shoulder or ear for them to talk to and to lean on when needed.
Yeah.
I'm not saying hand over your checking account to them,
Right.
right? Because most people aren't in a financial situation to do that. But you can help your loved one make a phone call.
Yeah.
You can help contact a crisis center or domestic violence shelter or safety planning place to help get that process started for when you are ready to leave.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest help that you can be. But you have to take their cue, the victim's cue, on those steps. If you do it ahead of time, they're probably going to tell their abuser, and then you will be isolated.
Wow. And talk a little bit about, right, because you shared a story, with me behind the scenes about, someone who left their partner at the right time, right? And, unfortunately, that person got into another relationship. Can you expound on that one a little bit?
I'm trying to think. We've been talking so much back.
Where she left the relationship, and then the abuser got into another relationship, and I guess wound up killing the.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I want, because I think that, again, we call the book Behind the Smile for a reason, right? And so while we're up here, but before we get to the story, let's talk about the smile, right? Because, it's interesting because my wife does the same thing, right? Like, there's certain times, like if you see her smiling or laughing or like, all right, something might be wrong, right? You might think, oh, it's just a smile or whatever, but it's sometimes it can be a mechanism, and you have something similar, right? So talk a little bit about the smile and laugh,
Yeah, the smile almost becomes your mask. It is a safety defense of, am I happy? Am I sad? You won't know because I'm just have a smile on my face. Now the look behind my eyes might be different, but if you smile, you can exude something, or you're just there. You're just being. I do smile when I'm uncomfortable sometimes. I shared with you, like if I'm in an elevator and it's quiet, I start laughing because it's awkward. Sometimes the same thing. Like even if I go out to dinner by myself, I'll just look around and I'll smile. It's not, sometimes it's a safety mechanism. Sometimes it's just I'm enjoying the environment. You just never know. But absolutely in the relationship, you wouldn't have known because you compartmentalize and try to put everything in the back and you try to move forward, get past it, comply, fight, flight, or freeze. In those types of situations, you just try to move forward past it and through it. And the only way to do that sometimes is smile.
Yeah. And I wanted to, but before you share the story, I wanted to bring that up, right? Because observing what's on the outside is not enough. And I'm talking to your loved ones, parents, uncles, aunts, loved ones, friends. Viewing what's on the outside is not enough. If you look at your loved one, there might be something behind the smile, right? There might be something behind the smile, and don't take that for granted. Don't just look like I know a lot of us are busy. I think that, social media has really damaged the family and friendship dynamic.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it, right? I remember before social media, if I thought about a friend, you know what I would do? I would pick up the phone and call them.
Yep.
Now, when I think about a friend,
Check their feed.
I check their feed. I go and I check their feed.
Yep.
And I'm so busy that I don't have time. And so if I check your feed and it was less than a month ago and you smiling, all right, you good.
Yeah.
Right? But, you never know who needs that phone call.
And it's the difference between, hey, Ash, how are you doing today?
Yeah.
Fine, good.
Yeah.
One more question.
Mm-hmm.
How are you really?
Yeah.
How are you feeling today?
Yeah.
Like, what feelings are you sitting in?
Yeah.
So it's just taking it another level.
Yeah.
Because so many people, we're a microwave society, right? You punch the minute, 30 seconds, whatever, and everything is cooked and warm and whatever.
Yeah.
But knowing what's beyond that, what's a little deeper, it's just connection.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, social media, you can check on 100 friends.
Right.
Everybody's good.
Right.
Everybody's got a smile
Everybody's
on their
smiling.
face.
Everybody's smiling. Everybody's good.
Yeah.
Everybody's posting,
Yeah.
And so talk about that situation, because I think it's important to know that the ramifications of domestic violence can end really, really badly for your loved one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I do want to preface this with anything that anyone goes through, document it.
Yeah.
Whether you set up a fake email and email it to yourself as a record of things, have a record, because if things escalate like the story, there is a trail and the police then know what happened or where it came from. But I do have a friend that was like beaten senseless in downtown Ocala. No one came to help her.
Oh.
She did contact the police. She did get a restraining order.
And when you said no one came to help her, like people saw
Bystanders.
it? Like they watched her go through this and no one, wow.
Who wants to get in the middle of a domestic dispute?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I guess because I'm bigger, right? Maybe because I'm 6'3", over 300 pounds. I've had tussles.
Yeah, but you could help them by force.
I can help them force, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if little 5'4" me walks in, how am I going to get a bigger dude off of somebody?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I could now with jujitsu.
Yeah.
But, that's where things escalate. She did call the cops.
Yeah.
She did file a restraining order.
Yeah.
But he moved on to his next victim. The next girl he dated, things escalated and he killed her.
Wow.
He's in jail.
Wow.
So that's where things can absolutely take a turn for the worse. An abuser doesn't get better.
Right.
They continue to get worse. Whatever they stretch to, they'll go beyond that. So if someone leaves, when they go back, they're telling the abuser that action that got you to leave was okay because you're back.
Yeah.
So they escalate it the next time. And each time it escalates.
Wow. What do you think would have happened to you if you'd have went back after the 5th time?
There would be severe damage.
Yeah.
I mean, we at times were working in the condo at the same time, him working from home, me working from home. And I mean, COVID, you had to 24/7, right? Thank goodness that I was nowhere close to COVID on that, but I mean, it was already escalating, punched in the chest, spit on, threw me down, broke my things, things that meant something to me, gave away things that meant a lot to me.
Wow.
Like a college sweatshirt that I designed for my sorority, tossed it away. In a box I told him to take to storage, he gave to Goodwill.
Wow.
On purpose.
Wow.
So, I mean, it would have absolutely continued to get worse.
Wow. So let's talk about your nonprofit for a second, right? Your nonprofit, Ignite Her, helps women step into their purpose. How does purpose tie into profit and long-term wealth for survivors?
So purpose for me in starting that is helping women exit safely. So because most domestic violence reporting is physical, how do you remove that physical side? How do you exit safely? And one of the top things that people are arrested for is strangulation, right? Whether it's in sexual assaults, whether it's in domestic violence, strangulation is one of the top reported things. Well, strangulation is also being normalized in movies, in pornos, in, anything and everything that's out there. Kids are talking about it in school, strangulation. That should not be normalized. Strangulation is attempted murder. And one of the case, the attorneys that we've listened to with the Institute for Strangulation Prevention is you cannot consent to something that will kill you. It only takes 6 to 8 seconds to hold down your arteries and veins for you to pass out.
Wow.
6 to 8 seconds.
6 to 8 seconds.
With less pressure than
68 or 6 to 8?
6 to 8.
Wow.
And with less pressure than I shook your hand when I saw you today.
Wow.
So that's how important it is. Is if someone blacks out, how do you know what's going to happen next? Are you going to continue and pass away? Or are you just going to black out and things are going to get done to you or your surroundings? Are you going to wake up in a different location than you passed out?
Wow.
There are dangerous things that happen once that happens. So helping women get out of compromising situations. And we've done private workshops for sororities at colleges, for groups of women in the community of teaching self-defense tactics. And the Women Empowered program in specific teaches the top 20 assaults on women that are filed with the police.
Is there and I just don't know this though, is there statistics on domestic violence for women to men? Does that exist?
There is domestic violence. So there's domestic violence across the board. Women to women, men to men, women to men, men to women, across the board. Specific statistics I don't have on hand,
for sure.
but I do know the majority of strangulation statistics are men on women. Because it's the power and control. When women strangle, it is frustration. And that kind of anxiety and frustration. Men, it's about power and control.
Right. And could, again, just staying, let's say, woman to man financially, is that the same stat that like, a woman has control of the finances, so they are abusive? Like, again, for me, and again, I'm not trying to make light of anything. I just could not see that. But I'm just
that
wondering
99% statistic isn't broken out by sex.
Okay.
That's just in general of abusive relationships. So I think that could probably go either way because we see the sites all over the place, right? Men seeking women to take care of them financially and vice versa. Women seeking men to take care of them financially. So people sometimes seek out the control. But even that, sometimes it takes a step too far beyond that, right? There's spoiling and getting spoiled and all that kind of stuff that becomes quite different when you're asking for that dynamic. Right. And when it is imposed on you that you can't control.
And so, what does wealth mean to you now, right? After everything you've been through, what does wealth mean to you?
Freedom. Safety. I don't think wealth is necessarily monetary. I think it is being able to make my own decisions, have my own emotions, talk to whoever I want to. It's the freedom to do any and everything on my own terms.
And so if, someone watching right now, they're financially stuck in an unhealthy relationship, right? What's one thing that they can do today to start shifting their money mindset to regain control?
Have a plan. Get a plan in place. If the abuser is controlling their finances, let's say they go to the grocery store, take an extra $20 out, invest it. Put it in a high yield savings account, whatever that looks like. Have it hidden. Give it to a family member to invest for you.
Yeah.
Something to be able to build up a safety fund or a emergency fund, so you can escape. If you need to go to a hotel or there's a waiting, 2-week or 2-month waiting period for a shelter, because sometimes there is. I know in the state of Florida, it's a 47-day turnaround. So if you're in the shelter for 47 days, you have to move on.
Wow.
You have to have a plan in place. So this gives you a little extra freedom if you need to stay at a hotel or an extended stay or whatever that looks like. So you're not under that stress of, oh, I should just go back. I mean, why am I dealing with this? It's better the devil I know than the devil I don't. I hate that saying, but it's out there.
Yeah. And like, I also know that, most times when we think domestic violence, we mainly think about physical violence. But, in the book, you talk about like emotional and psychological, abuse almost being worse than physical abuse, right? Because, physical abuse, I could look at you and see it. Talk a little bit about that, about like why emotional and psychological abuse could potentially be more dangerous. And, obviously, all abuse is wrong, right? Obviously, physical abuse could lead to death.
Yeah.
But what is it about emotional and psychological abuse that also makes it dangerous?
Yeah. So if you and I were to see each other on a regular basis, we work together, I saw you in the office all the time, you could physically see if I had bruises or, busted my arm or whatever that looks like. But you could also see if I changed my appearance randomly. My hair was different. I took less care of myself. I was wearing less makeup. My clothes were fitting different. Maybe they weren't fitted. They were baggy, or it just something was off, but it was slightly enough to where it was like, oh, well, Tiffiny doesn't look the same anymore. But you couldn't put your finger on it.
Yeah.
Before I would get to work, why are you doing your hair? Why are you wearing the makeup? Who are you sleeping with at the office? You're such a piece of shit. The stuff that goes into me before I go to work. And then I have to sit in it all day and then get text messages all day of, why did you do this? Why are you liking someone's photo? Like he was on the hunt through social media, through my search history, like all of those things where I just walking around as a shell of my normal personality, because all of these things are happening in a dynamic around me. And the only thing you would see is maybe my change of how I did my hair or my makeup or my clothes or if I had bruises. But all of that is like living inside of me and killing what's happening inside of me.
Right. Whew, heavy stuff. Why did you write the book, and why should people pick it up?
Far too often I hear people talk about their loved ones in relationships and not knowing how to approach them.
Yeah.
And if they did approach them being isolated away or separated away from their loved one.
Yeah.
And I think having that conversation really spurred me to say, okay, now it's time, because more people need to know about it. The nonprofit was off the ground, helping people like feel like Wonder Woman, accomplish something. Even though the topic is heavy, they're doing something fun, the activity of self-defense. But the education side of it is, what is domestic abuse? When the cops are called, who's arrested? What are the cops looking for? What are, all of this education and knowledge putting over into a book like this of what the everyday person should know of the signs and symptoms of what emotional and psychological abuse are. And just to, if there's cameras in here, right? Because we're in a studio.
Right.
If you're in an apartment in an unsafe neighborhood, you're not going to put cameras in every room. You're probably going to put it on the main entry to see if someone breaks in. Right? But a camera in every room, that's suspicious. Right? A nanny cam.
And that was your situation.
Yeah. All of a sudden, he changed his alarm clock, and it was this boring, square, like weird clock. And I opened up the hall closet, and the box fell right in front of me. And that's how I discovered that there was a nanny cam in the bedroom.
Wow. And so he was watching everything. So from the time you walk in, was there any parts of the house that you weren't being watched?
The bathroom. I mean, he could see when I went from the bedroom into the bathroom.
Yeah.
And he could see, like, there was a flood, like the toilet overflowed, and we called maintenance, and he was out of town. Well, I was showing the maintenance guy, hey, there's water under the guest bed. Like, it rolled all the way into this room. Well, he couldn't see in the room, so I got accused of flirting with the maintenance guy because I walked into the bedroom with him.
Wow.
So the surveillance, like the walking on eggshells, if it's such an awful feeling.
Yeah. Would you say that those, like, people who are abusers are like have low self-esteem, are insecure? Like what is the profile of an abuser?
I don't know in general.
Yeah.
But I do know from my abuser, he had something to hide.
Right.
Right? The same sex.
Right.
Affair.
Right. And so that potentially that potentially, he, in his mind, being an abuser could make him feel more like a man, if you will, more in control because he had that thing to hide.
Yeah. That for sure had low self-esteem.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm sitting here and, it's a beautiful day and there's a band playing and I'm sitting here smiling and you're accusing me of smiling at the lead singer of the band.
Right.
I mean, that's for sure insecurity through and through.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I could be very damaging, but in the grand scheme of things, it was absolute insecurities and things that he had to hide.
Yeah.
I mean, and he made significant amount more money than I did, but he had to have mine.
Wow.
Financial control.
Right.
He didn't want me to be able to do things on my own.
Wow. My last question. I have nieces that are in their 20s. I have a daughter that's 17. What, as an uncle, as a father, even as a friend, what should I be looking out for? What should I be doing to protect my nieces, to protect my daughter, to protect, friends?
I would say the top thing is having those conversations.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone that's in a domestic violence situation or abuse or controlling or, whatever term that you want to start out with to open the door? Do you know anyone at school that witnessed it? I mean, most kids in school have parents, like they've witnessed it.
Yeah.
Having that conversation of this is out there in society. Let's have a talk about it. I mean, the big explosion we all saw all over the news was Cassie and P. Diddy.
Yeah.
I mean, that started the waterfall of craziness.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? And that's when you and I started talking about all of this too.
Yeah.
It's out there. It's mainstream now. So that is an open conversation of, is that okay? Do you see that as okay?
Yeah.
Like, what are your feelings when you see something like that?
Yeah.
What would you do in that situation?
Yeah.
Just having those open, honest conversations. Because if you're not having them, they're not having them with anybody else.
Right.
They're just getting normalized in their brain.
Right.
And that's the last thing you want it to do is get normalized.
Right.
Because it is awful.
Yeah. Whew. All right, y'all. Look, heavy episode of Inside the Vault, but very important, right? Very important because when you think about your money, your mindset, control, power, finance has a lot to do with that. We have to be aware of what's going on in this world. Like Tiffany mentioned, most of us saw the disturbing video of Diddy and Cassie and that level of rage. Imagine if that's your loved one. Imagine if that's somebody that you love and care about that's going through that thing. And to be fair, we saw videos of Cassie days after that, and she was smiling
with him.
So what was behind that smile? If people wanted to connect with you, website, social media, where can they find you?
The website is tiffinynewton.com, Tiffiny, Newton.com. And they can find all the locations where the books are sold so far. Just click on and it'll take you to purchase.
All right, y'all. So we are closing out the vault. Another powerful episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. Make sure you visit us, InsideTheVaultShow.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at Inside the Vault. Make sure you join the Abundance community, the #1 financial spirituality community on the planet. Make sure you follow me. Go to my website, IamAshCash.com. Follow me on all social media platforms at IamAshCash. And listen, we'll see you next time, same place, in God's will. Peace.